Welcome back everyone to another Nano Reef Freak video. In today's video we're adding invertebrates to our tank, and for that we have Trochus snails and a Halloween hermit crab. So this Eshopps Deskmate Florida 9-gallon aquarium, oh there's no air in that bag so it went straight to the bottom. This tank has been set up for a full week, so it was set up last Saturday. And we added the bacteria, so it's got live bacteria, it's got the copepods, it had established filter media from a previous tank. So really the tank should be fully cycled. But we are going ahead and we're going to add our invertebrates today, that being the hermit crab and the snails. We are going to have to add a light to the tank today. The reason for the light is the snails are going to need something to eat. They're going to need algae. Now there is a little bit of algae developing on the glass just because I have a large window to the left of me here, just to the left of my desk. There's also several other aquariums in here, so this room stays pretty well lit throughout the day. But we are just going to put on just an affordable light on top of this aquarium today because we don't yet have a reef LED light for this, and we don't need a reef LED light until we get our first corals in this tank. So realistically, if we didn't have the snails, we could stay without a light, for a much longer period of time. Obviously, the fish like to have the light too. They don't need it to survive, but they do enjoy having like a day and night cycle, of course. But we're going to go ahead, let these guys sit in here for about 30 minutes, maybe like 15 to 30, somewhere in between there. And then we'll go ahead and add them to the tank. While we're waiting for that, I am going to do a water test just to triple check that the water quality in here is perfect. It should be, because literally, like I said, we had fresh sand, fresh rock, but we had live bacteria that established filter media from a previous tank, and we had all those copepods, and we've also been dosing that phytoplankton every single day, so we'll dose that phytoplankton before the end of the video today, just so you guys can kind of see my whole process throughout setting up this tank. Also, I know my Halloween hermit crab is going to change shells, but look how cool his shell looks. This is an awesome shell. He looks kind of like, almost like a cinnamon type of shell, almost like a cream and sugar, or like a, I don't know, he's giving me like a brown sugar kind of vibe. So I think it's a really cool shell actually to get a hermit crab in. Obviously, like, he's going to change shells, but it's just really cool to see him start with a really cool shell to begin with. Another little random tidbit, while I was waiting for these guys to acclimate, the auto top off did go into an error state, and at first I was like, why is that happening? It's because I put these two bags in here and that raised the water level above the overflow sensor and the auto top off on the back of this AIO. So because of that, the all-in-one filling up over the sensor caused the alarm to go off. Take this up to the window, and the solution is just like an opaque white. So we don't have any of these like tan colors coming through yet. We also did the nitrate test here, which looks like it's maybe 2. It's like barely anything, as you can see. While we're getting all the water tests done, I did find a suitable light for this tank for now. It's actually the light that was on my Fluval Evo 13.5. So this light is capable of growing corals just fine, and it's what we're going to run with for now, just for the cycle. We will ultimately change this light long term, because this light is just an on and off, and it's a white or blue or off. There's no option to control white intensity or blue intensity or overall intensity of the light. It's just a simple on and off, which is a little unfortunate, but it will get the job done. So interestingly enough, we do have some nitrite in the aquarium. So looking from the top down, it looks like we have about 0.2 to 0.5 nitrate, somewhere in there, probably like 0.4. That would be kind of a bad thing if we had some fish in here. So just keep that in mind. That is why I'm doing a fishless cycle, and we're adding some invertebrates. There's no more ammonia, so that ammonia has transitioned into nitrite, and then it will be converted from nitrite to nitrate with the beneficial bacteria that is in the aquarium already. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and add just a little bit more established filter media from my other tank into this one, and hopefully that will be enough to convert all the nitrite to nitrate very quickly, and then we'll start to see nitrates in the tank. Alrighty, it is time to put our hermit crabs in here and our Trochus snails. So I just want to talk about why we chose the invertebrates we chose. So the Halloween hermit crab, just because it looks awesome. It is a perfect match for the Eshopps Deskmate tank here, and it's just going to look so cool in this tank. We will need to get some extra shells for it, because it's eventually going to outgrow the shell that it has right now, and then it will not be doing too hot once it outgrows that shell. go ahead, use our handy dandy ice cap tweezers to get our other bag here. Not sponsored, just a product I bought with my own money and genuinely actually love and enjoy. Can't live without it, honestly. Check out my video that I've made previously about all the accessories that I use on my reef tank, guys. I think you'll find it really interesting if you're interested in what makes all of these tanks possible. We're going to go ahead and dump out all of our Trochus snails. I believe we should have 6 of them in here. Alrighty. So the reason we chose Trochus snails is Trochus snails can usually flip themselves back over. So these guys are probably pretty tired, but you can see one of them is already taken off here on the right. And it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So exactly what we needed. Exactly what the doctor ordered. So you'll see that big one there. He'll really just start spinning like that, trying to latch on to the aquarium substrate there and flip himself over. Okay, it looks like they're gonna make me eat my words. Kids make terrible liars out of you, as they always say. So I'm gonna go ahead and give them a little bit of assistance because they're so new to the aquarium here. That one will latch on there. Now the only bad thing about this stocking choice is that if the Trochus snails were to flip over and the Halloween hermit crab was to find them and they could not flip back over, Halloween hermit crabs are a little more aggressive and he may actually eat one of the snails if that were to happen. Hopefully Trochus snails will stay true to their name and be able to flip themselves over as often as possible. And hopefully we won't have to worry about that, but I do see myself flipping them back over many times in the future just because this is my desk aquarium, so I will look at it every single day and make sure that everybody is doing fantastic. So we'll give these guys some time to disperse and we'll hopefully get some clips here of that Halloween hermit crab in a minute. Trochus snails are also going to live quite a long time. They get really big. These ones are all just little babies, except for that big one on the right is kind of large. But normally I would say you want about 1 Trochus snail per gallon of aquarium water. So it sounds a little bit insane, but when this tank gets covered in algae, 2 or 3 Trochus snails just ain't going to do it. Even the 6 I have in here probably aren't going to do it. I'm probably going to have to add 2 or 3 more. And with this being an acrylic tank, I do want to have as many natural algae cleaners in there as possible. I want to try and keep my hands out of the tank as much as possible because acrylic scratches very easily. So the more I have to scrub the aquarium algae, the more likely I am to scratch the tank itself, which is repairable, but as we all know, repairing acrylic takes a really long time. I do have a video coming up about that if I haven't done it already. But yeah. These are my favorite snails. They just live a long time. They eat a lot of algae. They usually flip themselves back over with, and they live a really long time. So I think they're the best all-arounder as far as aquarium snails goes. Now that we've gone ahead and got our first invertebrates in, it's time to do a little bit of maintenance on the tank. As you saw, we had some nitrite, which means that the cycle is occurring, and it is going through that ammonia cycle there where the ammonia turns to nitrite, then the nitrate. However, we do have a filter sponge in the back of this tank that we do want to take out and replace. It's been in there for a week, and as you guys will see here in a second, a week is plenty of time for this filter sponge to get nice and gross. As you can see, this filter sponge is nice and brown. This filter sponge actually starts out completely white. So this is, again, just 1 week worth of the sponge being in the aquarium. So we're going to go ahead and cut a new one and put it in there, and I'll show you the old one versus the new one here in just a sec. So here we do have the old filter sponge and the new filter sponge. It's insane. The old one looks just totally brown and disgusting. It's catching lots of nasty stuff. And the new one is a perfect white, so we'll go ahead and get that one in the aquarium. So first things first, I do want to put some additional bacteria in the filter here. So we're going to go ahead and drop some of that beneficial bacteria from my previous tank in there. Then we're going to go ahead and put the new sponge in there. So here's our new sponge. We'll go ahead and put that right in the top. One other addition I do want to make to the aquarium right now that we have a light, is putting a macroalgae in here. So we're going to go ahead and choose this macroalgae here. I'm going to try and squish this in something like a rock or something, but it's going to be pretty challenging to get it to stay anywhere without the tweezers pulling it out. So check that out, guys. On our macroalgae that we added, there is a little itty bitty baby bristleworm that is free cleanup crew when they're that little. When they get much larger, I do ultimately remove them just because they can go ahead and eat quite a bit of other stuff in the tank at that point. So now we have our macroalgae in the tank. So just to recap today's video, we did put a Halloween hermit crab in the tank, the Trochus snails, 6 of them so far. We did put our first macroalgae in, and we did put our aquarium light on there. There is no ammonia, but there is some nitrite, which will turn into nitrate, and that will continue the aquarium cycle. We did replace the filter pad, and we did also put a little bit more biological media in there to go ahead and help that cycle move along a little bit quicker. Last thing we're going to do, we are going to put some food in here to feed these guys. So with these snails and hermit crabs needing a little bit of food and also needing something to keep the cycle going, I'm just going to throw in some of our frozen fish food here. If you guys want to know what frozen fish food I use, go ahead and check out the previous video. I did make a video on all the frozen foods that I use in my reef tank, and what my favorites were and why I use the frozen foods that I do. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.